Welcome to Two Poor Artists, where they're poor at finding their way home, but mostly they're poor at making art.
I'm Isaac.
And I'm Benj.
And we have taken another opportunity.
You interrupted.
I'm trying to introduce him.
Well, you interrupted him.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
No, you introduce me now. I want to hear.
All right, we have taken it upon ourselves yet again to subject a third person to the art that we're about to create. So we've got Josh here with us again today. Welcome, Josh.
Hello.
So glad to have you here that I tried to introduce you and succeeded.
Yeah, and by the way, you said we're poor at finding our way home, but there just is actually no way home.
It's true.
Oh, that's my bad.
Which is exactly why today we are drawing No Way Home. Not because we're so bad at finding our way home, but mostly because now that the holiday season is coming to an end, we get to take a break from talking about Christmas for a week and talk about the best thing to come to theaters in probably the last, what would you say, 10 years at least?
I mean, definitely at least since Infinity War.
Yeah, that's true.
And arguably since well before that.
Spider-Man No Way Home was easily one of the best movies ever made. Whoever wrote that movie should write every future Marvel movie.
I agree. It was just exactly what the fans wanted in every scene.
In every scene.
Like, there were certain things that I wish didn't happen, but I 100% know most fans did want it to happen.
It's true.
So, yeah, I mean, my only complaints about the movie at all is that I am a Doctor Strange fan, and it didn't particularly make him look good.
Yeah, but Spider-Man was great.
So I'm just going to say now, we're going to talk about this movie. So if you haven't seen it yet, stop watching this.
First of all, we feel really bad for you. You've had 2 whole weeks now to go out there and see this movie, and just haven't made it there yet. You need to loosen up your schedule a bit.
Yeah, but also, what we're doing here is terrible. We're drawing terrible art.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying.
So don't watch this. Watch that, and then maybe if you have some time left over, you can come back and watch this and hear what we say.
Like if you're here watching this and you haven't seen No Way Home, you need to get your priorities straight because watching us, that takes like a backseat to watching just about everything else in the whole wide world.
Yep.
But if you have an enemy that you want to send this to before they watch the movie, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, please do that. Yeah, that's where we thrive.
Good point. Because we will spoil it. But to that enemy, go watch No Way Home.
Yeah. If somebody told you to watch this instead of going and seeing No Way Home with them, then first of all, they hate you.
Yes.
And second of all, you should just go see it anyway.
Yep. And yeah, we're going to spoil the movie. So just a warning for that.
You've been warned. So much warning went into this video. Now we can actually talk about it. The best Spider-Man and possibly best Marvel movie, possibly best superhero movie ever made.
I mean, the fact that they actually had all 3 of the Spider-Mans in it.
What they did
was like it was like one of those things where it's like it was almost like the way they did it was actually surprising to me because I had already like basically given up hope on them introducing them because they constantly said only the villains are going to be in it, none of the original people, and it's like, well, you're pretty sure that they're lying. And then you're watching the movie, and it's like, there's not even any hints of them being introduced.
Nope.
And then in one scene, they just bring both of them in, and it's just so good.
It was the best.
I've
never heard a theater cheer quite so loud.
Like, this movie is the movie that I think most gets ruined by having things told about it.
Spoilers?
Yeah. Like having being
and
spoiled.
Our extreme overuse of the
like honestly, if somebody had told me what happened in Endgame, I wouldn't have even cared before watching the movie. Like it honestly wouldn't have even spoiled it that much for me. But this, like,
it's true.
The surprise that came with it was a big part of the enjoyment of it.
It's true.
Also, Endgame was a terrible movie, so it couldn't have spoiled it any worse than it spoiled itself.
For a different time.
Is that an ocarina in an eyeball?
No, it looks like America.
It's definitely like the continents, but for some reason they actually have the lines on them.
Oh, I see. Are you going to draw the state lines too?
No, just some islands down here. And an island over there, and that's Earth, everybody.
No, that's the Americas.
That's
The whole of Earth. Right there in that drawing.
This is an American
And
astronaut.
then for some reason Canada's there too.
In case you can't tell, this is an American astronaut, and he's, you know.
He only looks out the window in America's.
Yeah. Only look at America.
So Josh, what was your favorite part of the No Way Home movie?
It was when Ned got his magical powers. I think Ned is the best character ever.
So it was a part of the movie that didn't exist?
He got
he
the ring.
Oh, I guess he got... That's your favorite part of the whole movie? Like, this part that was so insignificant that I forgot?
To be fair, that was the same scene that the two Spider-Mans were introduced
Oh,
in.
so that's why you like it so much.
It's just a roundabout way of saying the same scene everybody else's favorite was.
I understand
But
that.
instead of making the two Spider-Mans the main characters of it, I'm making Ned it, because Ned is the best.
I'm so sorry that that's what you got out of this movie.
Well,
If you're hoping for this to be the best part of the movie, everybody, don't worry. It's not going to be the best part of the movie.
I'm not as much as a nerd as these guys. I just like Ned.
It is crazy that Ned
You're not
was
as much of a
able,
nerd as us. Yes, you are.
but it is crazy that Ned was able to use the portal that took even Doctor Strange a while to.
Let's talk about a good part of the movie, like, I don't know, all three Spider-Mans fighting people at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that part.
But honestly, my favorite part, I think, was the scene before they fought everybody, where it's just the three of them talking.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, and also the scene before that scene, where like they go and meet up with Tom Holland Spider-Man, where he's like crying on the roof, and they like say exactly what he needs to hear because they know him better than anybody, because they are him from a different dimension.
It's true.
Like that, just everything with the three of them was just so good.
Yeah, what does the inside of a spaceship look like?
I don't know. It can look like anything.
I know it has lots of buttons.
Condensed dry.
I mean, I don't think the buttons are just randomly spread
I
out.
don't have time to draw all the buttons.
Like I think there's like one console,
This
like
spaceship,
with all the
this
buttons
spaceship
on
has
it.
lots of buttons.
Not just like, with this button we can only push if you have the gravity turned off, but it's also like the way you get food.
What's the button that lets him see the Americas?
It's called the window.
Yeah, he just looks out the window.
There's gotta be a window.
The
button.
space window. What is are those letters? Is that
This is like a fuel gauge.
Like I see the F, but what happened to the E?
It's over here. There's an E
Well,
underneath the arrow.
Really?
Oh, that's
You're
an
never
arrow
see no spaceship.
pointing at the E.
No spaceship was ever designed for it to be on the E, so you can't even see the E when it's on the E. But this unfortunate
So
astronaut.
the gauge is just like on the wall with these buttons scattered around.
I'll add some more buttons for.
You should have just like drawn a console, like a square.
What else is in a spaceship? I don't even know what to draw.
I mean, spaceships are usually pretty
Like Josh
clean.
said, I guess he has like some food floating around,
Yeah.
and it has an F on it for food.
Also, I really like
And
how
then
your
there's-
astronaut has a mullet. He's doing a good job doing that.
He has a mullet, and then he has like a surprisingly. Like I don't understand what's going on with his forehead.
Is this like 90s Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah, but he's an astronaut. He's like J. Jonah Jameson's son. In
He's coming
space.
back with the symbiote?
No, he's not coming back at all. There's no way home.
Oh,
The
yeah,
spaceship
you're right.
is on
It's
empty.
So no symbiote.
Yep.
This is
This
what
is like
happened.
the anti-origin of Venom.
No, this is what happened to it, the Tom Holland version of Venom. It just never came.
Yep.
It just is still in space. The spaceship never came back.
There's some craters outside on the moon, though, so you know that's the moon, because that's what it
Oh,
looks
he's
like.
on the moon.
They're on the moon. So you're seeing through one wall of the spaceship.
Okay.
Oh,
Of apparently J.
This
Jonah
is-
Jameson, so he can keep it on Spider-Man.
Yeah, and, he
And
has
he's
a mullet. 'cause
looking
he's
out at
from
America
in the
because
90s.
he's, American. And
Mhm.
yeah, he's got his 90s mullet. But he waited too long staring at America and kept the rockets burning. And now he's stuck on the moon. Him and his buttons.
So many buttons. He can just push them all day. Like,
I mean, he can find out what every one of them does now.
That's true.
Like, it's a chore to push all those buttons because they're so like look at how tall he is, and then imagine his arm reaching up. Can he even push that button on the top left? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Just like jump.
Well, luckily there's zero gravity, so you can reach up there.
Somehow he's standing.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't actually see his feet, so he could be floating.
Yeah, he's
Or he's got the boot.
I definitely forgot about that, though. Definitely forgot about that.
What about like gravity?
How space works.
I mean, he's not in space. There's some gravity. Because he's on the moon. It's just not as much.
Yeah, but the important thing is he has no way home.
Yes.
Which, if I'm being
That is
completely honest,
accurate.
was kind of like a terrible name for the actual movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's alright. So there's like villains that are trapped in their world, and the villains can't get home. But the only reason the villains can't get home is because of, like, Spider-Man's not letting them go home
Yeah,
yet.
it's literally a button. You push the button
Yeah,
and
it's like,
everybody
you
goes
can't
home.
go home until you're good guys. You're going to stay here on my dimension. And then Doctor Strange is like, what are you doing? Like, just send them home. And he's like, no way are they going home.
Yeah,
That would have been a better title. No way are they going home.
yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
that would have been better, right?
But I think it looks like you're done, so I'm going to hop on over there and do a drawing, and you guys can continue talking about Spider-Man.
Sounds great. That's all I wanted to do since we saw it. So, like, just having all of the villains back from the old Spider-Man movies alone would have made for, like, a great movie. You have, like, Green Goblin, arguably the best Spider-Man villain of all time. You had Sandman, you had Electro, who they fixed. Like, any problems I ever had with Electro from his other movie, even though I liked Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though almost nobody did.
Yeah.
Like, they made him even better.
Yeah, because like there was character progression.
Yeah.
Like his character made sense in Spider-Man 2. But then
100%.
like it also makes sense that he acted different in this movie.
And then they made Doc Ock, like, so likable. Like, they made him, like, a semi-good guy in the movie, which I think is pretty much how people want him to be. Yeah, they did an excellent job with them. Seeing William Dafoe back playing Green Goblin was just perfect. It's like he was born to play that part.
Yeah, they all did such a good job, and they all continue to do such a good job. Like, I mean, all of the Spider-Man movies are good.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
part of that is because the villains are good.
100%. You can't have a good superhero movie if the villain is boring and terrible. Or if it's Spider-Man 3 and all of them are just terrible.
And the hero is also terrible.
I mean, just think about it. They realized what their mistakes with Spider-Man 3 because they only brought back Sandman, who was arguably like the only villain from Spider-Man 3 that had any decent character building. Like, you sort of cared about him.
And his daughter. Cared about his daughter.
Oh, yeah, he did, but she's not in the movie.
That's true.
You know who is in the movie, though? Aunt May. I gotta say, one of my favorite parts of the entire movie, this is gonna sound morbid, but was the scene that Aunt May died in. Not because she died, but because they did it so perfectly. They even had her, and this is the comic book nerd in me speaking, they even had her say the line, with great power comes great responsibility, but not the one from Spider-Man 1 that everybody's come to love. She said the actual line from the comics. Like, quoted it directly off the page from the 60s, and it was perfect. And then she died, and you're like, you know what? Didn't want her to die, but she did it perfectly.
Yeah, I think the only other way they could have done it that also would have been good would be if they would have had her not die. If they didn't want to kill her off.
I mean, that would have been great, too.
And then had, like, Tobey Maguire be the one that told him.
That would have been pretty good, I'll admit.
That would have just been added on to their already great relationship that they immediately had.
All right, Josh, this is the part of the video where we pause talking about Spider-Man and try to guess what Ben just drawn.
Yeah.
I see a giant robot leg in a car.
I thought it was going to be a giant fish at first. But
Which one?
the airplane looking thing.
Oh, is it an airplane?
I think so.
I'm seeing it now. This is like modes of transportation. We have an airplane, and you do that in quotes. We have a car, and we have a goldfish cracker.
Yep, the classic mode of transportation.
Yep, everybody knows you can travel by fish, you can travel by plane, a car. That's it.
Well, now he's drawing a helicopter, so.
Are you sure that's what that thing is?
This
is
sure?
literally. I mean, we say this every week, but this is like your kindergartner sitting down and being like, "All right, well, what are you drawing?" And they're like, "It's a plane," and you're like, "Oh yeah, okay." That's a helicopter, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, you did such a good job." That's a car, and you're like, first of all, no car has ever looked like that.
That's the London Bridge.
But you still congratulate
Have
them.
you ever seen those pictures where it's like the guy takes like pictures that his kid drew and he like makes them realistic? So it's like a horse, but it like looks like a realistic horse.
Yeah, I've definitely
but
seen
like
these.
in the shape of
It's
the like.
super disturbing. It's like a Photoshop that just like squeezed a horse into whatever shape she drew.
Yeah, it's so good.
What is it? What the heck are those windows in the sky? Oh, never mind. Okay, it's a train. Oh, gosh, it's so bad.
You know, like Superman. It's a bird. It's a train. Oh, it's Superman. Right?
How dare you disrespect Superman with that comment?
No, he's faster or more powerful than a locomotive.
Yeah,
And faster
than a speeding bullet.
speeding bullet. Can leap higher than
Than the
the
tallest
tallest building in a single bound.
You know who else can go over the tallest buildings, but not in a single bound? All three Spider-Mans. They even had a part where they talked about like jumping off of their favorite buildings in New York City. It was fantastic. Then you realize that Tom Holland like had never been in the city and had never climbed up a building apparently.
Yeah, his favorite building was the school roof.
Yeah, like where all of his movies have taken place so far. Honestly, though, I loved how this movie ended too, though, because it set up Tom Holland's Spider-Man for like being in the city and actually becoming like
the neighborhood-friendly Spider-Man.
No, like moving away from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man into like the Spider-Man of New York City that everybody knows.
That's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, but his neighborhood got a lot bigger at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's true. But
Another question: do you guys think that they're going to have him like continue to fall in love with MJ from this movie, or is he like moving on to like his Gwen Stacy and?
No, that can't happen.
I'm sure they'll fix the relationship in some way. It's just he has to like decide if it's actually worth it to ruin his friend's life again.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Because I could see him doing like the merciful thing, just like letting them go and do their own thing. You know, like what all the other Spider-Man struggle with. Like, do I even bother to tell them? Like, they figured out who he was in these movies, and it like ruined their lives. So does he go like right back and tell them again? Probably.
He should have just told MJ he loved her. They could have been all good. She would have remembered. She had that look in her
I'm pretty
eye.
sure that there was something like that, but then she's like, "No, don't tell me. Tell me later, when I won't remember." Which, honestly, what is going on with these?
These are like muffins.
At first, I thought they were like chef hats. They all became culinary.
They became muffins.
Now I'm thinking they're supposed to be explosions.
Yeah, they're supposed to be explosions.
Oh.
And he's just like, well, that was my last way home.
I gotta say, my favorite part of this entire drawing is, without a doubt, the question mark. That was a good question mark.
That is true.
Yeah, it's just, your average question mark, I would say.
Yeah, but honestly, I want to see the Spider-Man movie again just to like listen to the three Spider-Mans talking to each other. Like their dialogue and how they interacted was like the most perfect few scenes in any Marvel movie. Just that alone.
Yeah.
And I like the movie overall. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's worth the ticket price just to go see the three of them talk for like a half hour.
Yeah, I mean, the only problems with it is like I don't really like when
No, it doesn't need to have problems.
I don't really like when heroes fight, because especially when it like doesn't make sense. And they had Doctor Strange fight Spider-Man, and it's like, first of all, Doctor Strange would never even have to fight Spider-Man if he can keep Loki in check with a portal trick, he can keep Spider-Man in check with a portal trick. Like, there's only once. But then also just like their personalities, it doesn't make sense. Like Spider-Man wouldn't fight somebody unless he like has to, and Doctor Strange wouldn't fight a kid.
I'm choosing to believe that Doctor Strange like believed in Spider-Man's plan a little bit, so he didn't like try his hardest to stop Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that would somewhat make sense. But also, just like if you're a fan of Doctor Strange, you may be a little bit disappointed because you'll just be like, why is he making all these stupid choices? And like even casting this spell in the first place.
Yeah, but if you're a Spider-Man fan or a Marvel fan in general, especially if you've seen the Spider-Man movies, though, like all of the Spider-Man movies, go see No Way Home, like tonight.
I mean,
if you didn't already see it this morning.
What I'm saying here, like I'm not saying that I dislike the movie in any way. I'm just saying they could have set it up differently and it would have been slightly better. But honestly, like the last like 2/3 of the movie made up for any mistakes made at the beginning.
Go give yourself a day after Christmas present and just go see Spider-Man.
Dude.
That's my plan. Like, I would just want to go see it again. That's my plan today. Just go see No Way Home again and again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. It honestly, it's probably my top Marvel movie.
I think it is.
And one of my top 5 movies.
Like, I loved Infinity War, but I love this movie even more.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're one of our few fans and you're going to go see it, feel free to invite us, because we'll go.
Yeah, if for some reason you're one of our few fans that didn't come with us to watch it,
I'm actually convinced that all of our fans did go to see it with us. All of our subscribers are probably like in the seats next to us. But if you're out there and you've like subscribed and you're like, what? I didn't go to a movie with you. We want to go see the movie with you if you didn't see it. So drop us a comment and we'll probably respond.
We will respond. We might not go to see Spider-Man.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Depends on, like, if you're, like, you know, down the street.
Yeah, and if you're paying for the tickets.
Oh, yeah, if you pay for it, we'll probably come. Until next time, go see Spider-Man.
And read the description on this video.
Goodbye.